Hey, good morning. This is Dr. Michelle of Sunrise Diaries and Secrets of Life and Death. I know it's been a while since I've done a Facebook Live, but here I am. I wanted to do at least one Facebook Live while I'm still in Oregon. Yes, I'm on vacation. This is the end. We're actually going home tomorrow. But I wanted to just share this beautiful surrounding with you. This is an amazing, beautiful pine forest. Look at that. All the way around, all for as far as the eyes can see. And look at that sky. Look at the blue of that sky. Is that amazing? So I want to talk today a little bit about taking vacation, taking time off. It's a subject that sort of has relevance at this time of year because, well, we're heading into the holiday seasons real quickly. Just the other day we had Halloween, and now we're going to head off to Thanksgiving and then the winter holidays and New Year's, and oh my gosh, aren't you kind of glad that this year's almost over? I know I am. But let's talk about holidays. First of all, my belief is that we all work way too hard. I know that I do. But working hard is sort of like the cultural ethic. It also fits in with our own fear of taking time for ourselves, of valuing ourselves, of feeling that if we aren't constantly busy, that something terrible will come up, that we will have to feel our feelings. That is one of the main secrets of life and death that I've discovered, is that most of us are running as fast as we can because we're afraid that if we stop, all those negative thoughts, all those fears, all those worries will swamp us. And indeed, they can do that. That's why I have dedicated my work and life to empowering people to get through the rough time. And not just to get through it, but to use those thoughts, those worries, those subconscious boogeymen as a gateway, a doorway to who you really are and who you are really meant to be. That's the secret of life and death, is to embrace the difficult, the challenges, and to use them to grow, to develop, to become more of who you really are. So I started by saying we are way too busy, and we are. We spend so much time running around, although not all of it is necessarily useful. Hey, thank you for joining. Not all of it. I'm talking about vacation, taking time off. We're starting to move into the holiday season, and not all of the time that I'm getting a little too much sun. Let's see. No, that's not going to work. Hold on. See if this is a little bit better. Oh yes, that's much better. Okay, so how do we take time off? Sometimes we make plans to go away, and sometimes we're almost as busy being on our vacation as we are when we're working. We fill our schedules with so much to do that we don't really have any time to relax. And indeed, I have been very busy during this vacation. We're at our cabin in Oregon. Hi, thank you for joining. I'm talking about taking time off. So there are a lot of things to do at this cabin. We haven't been here in almost a year. So there's a lot of cleaning. There's a lot of removal of pine needles because it's a fire danger. Painting the deck. Also, we're trying to refurbish the place because eventually we plan to sell it so that we only have one house to take care of instead of two. It's a lot being a homeowner. What I have discovered is that when you allow yourself to, hi Virginia, nice to see you. Thank you for joining. I'm talking about taking time off. And how we do that, how we take time off, how do we allow ourselves to relax? How do we allow our minds to rest? And for me, that's the most important thing, is letting my mind rest, because I'm thinking about things all the time. And one of the ways in which I rest is I read books. Sometimes it feels a little bit escapist. I love novels, and I've read some really good stuff. I just read an amazing book by Brian Doyle, who unfortunately died a couple of years ago, just when I discovered him. He is an amazing writer and full of heart and full of great insights about the world. So that was part of my resting period. Hey, thank you for joining. Another part of, we're talking about taking time off, resting. It's really important to do that, to take time off, to rest. If you don't, you never allow the creative parts of yourself to emerge. And it's the creative parts that we need to survive, to manage our businesses, to come up with our brilliance. So we actually need to take time off. Just before, I was going to mention this before, just before we left, my husband always takes more time getting ready, and I've gotten used to that. So we actually left a day later, and we're actually going back a day later. And I'm used to it. It doesn't bother me anymore. What I have learned to do is to keep busy and do interesting things. Like, for example, just before we left for here, I cleaned the refrigerator. But when I do these physical things, like working in the garden or painting the wood deck or raking pine needles, is that my mind is off. My mind is just on the activity. My mind is resting. And it's kind of like the Buddhist saying, chop wood, carry water. It's just you stay in the moment of your doing, and it's actually very relaxing. Yeah, it's nice, to, like my wonderful, brilliant idea about how to rest is to be on a inflatable, mat in a warm water, like either a swimming pool or in the ocean, just floating along in the sun shining down. That's my ultimate vision of the perfect rest. That or being in a hammock. And the cool thing about this cabin is we actually do have a hammock. And in the summertime, I have actually hung out in that hammock and read books. And for me, that's a really great way to rest. So I'm hoping that when you listen to this, you'll put down some of your ideas for how to relax and recover. It's really about recharging your batteries. It's about having the energy to get back on the saddle again and do all the things that you need to do. And in some ways, I feel a little like I'm on fast forward because, well, time's running out. And I don't mean just in terms of, the end of this year, but in my own life, that certainly probably 3/4 of my life is over. Now, my husband always likes to say that he's going to live until he's about 120 because he works so slowly that he actually needs that much time to get all of his ideas executed, all of his brilliance. And he is, by the way, really brilliant. He's a woodworker. And he's a sculptor, and he really knows how to, hi, thank you for joining. I'm talking about my husband and taking vacation. He really knows how to use his hands. And what I have found about his work is that he gets rest and recharging from doing that kind of work. He loves manipulating material and creating things. And sometimes he gets a little nervous when he's working on the back building and he's trying to solve problems, and that's a little nerve-wracking, and I understand that. It is nerve-wracking to figure out how to solve problems. Although in some ways I love solving problems. That's one of the things that I like to do. It's, I guess, seeing the pattern, being able to put it together. Anyway, back to taking a break, back to living in the moment, back to resting and restoring yourself. So I would really love it if you would go ahead and post in the comments, what are the ways in which you recharge your batteries? What are the best activities that you resort to? What makes you feel ready to go back to work again? So I'm thinking already tomorrow we're going to drive home, and then Wednesday, right out of the gate, you know, like the beginning of a race. I'm going to be going full steam ahead. Well, I'd like to go a little easier. And that's going to be hard because I've got a lot of things scheduled on my plate when I get back. And of course, pushing the extra day has made it so that I don't have that extra time that I thought I would. So yes, please put down what it is that you do to recharge. And today what I'm going to do to recharge is I'm going to take a walk in the pine forest. Now yesterday I wanted to thank you for joining, talking about vacation and taking time off, and that might not fit for you right now, but maybe even in this minute you can take a little bit of this beautiful pine forest with you and just breathe that fresh, clear air and that serenity. It is so quiet here. We hardly ever have airplanes. We hardly have any noise, although right now it's hunter's season, so that's why I'm wearing this red vest, is that there are hunters out. Although, fortunately, it's the weekday, so there aren't as many hunters. Yesterday, Sunday, it was popping like crazy, and I stayed very close to the road because I figured that close to the road I'd be less likely to get shot. We don't hunt. We're not hunters. We bird watch, and we used to have a beautiful bird feeder and birds would come, but we're only here for 2 weeks and I don't want the birds to get used to the idea that they can come to our bird feeder and get fed because we're going to be gone. But we have been putting water out, and oh my gosh, we have been seeing amazing, amazing birds. One of them, which I'd never seen before, was a gray jay, or actually it's the national bird of Canada. Well, I don't know if it's officially the national bird of Canada. And it's got a small beak. It's not like those usual blue jays. It's got a small beak. I guess it must eat insects. But anyway, it's as big as a jay, and it's black and gray and white. And not only was there one, there were three, because they are actually social jays. So what else can I say? Yes, so I hope you took some of this beautiful, look at that sky. Look at those trees. So mostly in this forest we have, the sun is coming out. Mostly in this forest we have lodgepole pine and what's the other one? I can't remember. It smells like vanilla. I don't think it's pinyon. Oh, that's better. Boy, it was getting hot. The one thing about here, we're at 7,000 feet, is when the sun comes out, it gets really, really hot. And at night, it gets really cold, like some of the days, and that's one of the reasons why I didn't get out early at sunrise. It's below freezing. It's a little too cold for me to do Facebook Live. But like now, it's pushing 60, and probably in the sun, it's probably even warmer. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little respite, one more time, I'm going to give you a view of the pine forest. And that's the road I'm going to be walking on. And I hope you enjoyed. I hope you've taken a little bit of a break. And please post in the comments section what it is that you do. And while I'm on here, please go ahead and join my Facebook group. It's called Share Your Brilliance Trainings. It's about you figuring out what you're brilliant about and how to go about sharing that with the people that you're meant to serve. And I have two things coming up. One is that I'm going to be doing a webinar on having more influence and less conflict in your family and in your work. And the other is that I'm going to be doing some face readings on Zoom, which is a little different from being in person, because sometimes I like to touch people's faces and look closely, but I'm pretty sure I can work this out for you. Both of them have a fee, but it's really reasonable. And if you have never had a face reading, it's amazing. It really tells you where your strengths are and where you could use work, and actually what kind of things you can do. So I haven't sent the email out about that, but if you go to my meetup, which, oh my gosh, I don't even remember what my meetups. Put my name in and meet up, and maybe you'll find me that way. Hey, thank you for joining. You'll find it. Or join my Facebook group, and I will surely post the link for you to register either or both for the webinar or the face readings. I just can't stop. Look at that beautiful blue sky. Love you all. We'll see if I can get out there tomorrow morning before we take off to head home. If not, I'll catch you on Wednesday morning, bright and early. You take care. Enjoy the change in the season. Enjoy your life. Be brilliant, and bye for now.